Okay, hello everyone. Myself, Mrs. Kalpana Singh, and I am a senior research fellow working under the supervision of Professor Dr. Rajiv Kumar, head of the Department of Sociology in DBS PG College, Kanpur. Okay, so I'm starting the series of thinkers, and I'll start with classical sociological traditions, in which there are three major thinkers, and in the syllabus also. The first one is Emile Durkheim, and accordingly we will move ahead with Max Weber and Karl Marx. So today I am starting with Emile Durkheim. Okay, these are the three major thinkers that we will study in classical sociological tradition: Emile Durkheim, Max Weber, and Karl Marx. This is the basic information which everyone who is appearing from certain kind of objective exam has to remember by heart. So there are three thinkers. So Emile Durkheim, lifespan 1858 to 1917. He is from the country France. Then the Max Weber, 1864 to 1920, and he is from Germany. Karl Marx, 1818 to 1883, and he is also from Germany. Now starting with Emile Durkheim, this is the picture of Emile Durkheim, and the notable works are The Rules of Sociological Method, 1895, The Division of Labor in Society, 1893, The Suicide, 1897, The Elementary Form of Religious Life, 1912, Education and Sociology, 1922, Sociology and Philosophy, 1924. Layout of this lecture will be mentioning few of the notable works of the thinker and explaining in brief few of the very important concepts given by each of the thinker. Okay, so let's start. The first key concept is a social fact. Let's start first the reading the definition. Social facts consist of manners of acting, thinking, and feeling external to the individual, which are invested with a coercive power by virtue of which they can exercise control over him. A social fact is every way of acting fixed or not capable of exercising on the individual an external constraint, or again every way of acting which is general throughout a given society, while at the same time existing in its own right, independent of its individual manifestations. So because Emile Durkheim was a positivist. Positivist means those who try to study science and scientifically, and try to use the method used in natural sciences to read society objectively and come up with some general laws to, like similarly like of natural sciences. Both the father of sociology, Auguste Comte, and Emile Durkheim, both were positivist, and they were trying to make the subject more scientific in its methodology. Social facts, according to Durkheim, is something very concrete in nature. It helps in understanding the society more objectively. The two major characteristics of social facts in this statement is, first thing, it is external to individual's mind. It is external to individual mind, and the second thing, it has a constraining effect over the behavior of individual in a society. So this is the social fact. He has categorized the social fact in two types. One is the material social fact, and other is a non-material social fact. In material social fact, as very clear from the term itself, that we can observe that particular social fact objectively, and it includes like social structures and things, actions will are clearly visible and can be observed, can be calculated, analyzed. Whereas non-material social fact are like values, norms, thing which is present everywhere but which is not visible everywhere. It can be visualized only through the parts of social structure itself, their action itself. So these were the two types of social fact, that is material and non-material social facts. So for Durkheim, social fact is the subject matter of sociology. So for reading sociology, for studying sociology, for studying society scientifically, one has to read the social facts. First to take out the social facts from the society and then read it scientifically. So this is the subject matter of sociology. Okay. Now next, let's move to the next slide of society. Okay, so Durkheim has differentiated between two kinds of society, that is primitive society and modern society. He has taken the evolutionary approach, borrowed it from Charles Darwin, that like organism, even society evolve from very simple forms of life or simple forms of structure to complex form of structure. So from primitive society it was a simple kind of society, and today's modern society is a very complex form of society. Now he differentiated this two types of society on several bases. Let's go one by one. The first one is the solidarity. Now, the kind of solidarity that exists in primitive society is mechanical solidarity, and the kind of solidarity in modern society is organic solidarity. When we say organic solidarity, there is an analogy between human body and society. Like in human body, the different organs perform different functions. Kidney has its own function, brain has its own function, then there is a liver, there is a lungs, and all those organs. Similarly, society has different parts, okay, and they are functioning differently. Still, they are interdependent on each other. They are not separate and capable of doing everything. They are doing their work specifically, yet they are in extreme need of other parts of the society as well. So it is performing like a body, the complex machine, the complex human machine. Whereas in earlier primitive society, it was mechanical solidarity. Though everyone were collectively participating in kind of work, so not specific work was the source of their interdependence. Whereas in complex society, the specifications are very separate, very dissimilar, very different from each other, yet they are interdependent on each other. So differentiation allows them to cooperate more, support by the same resource base. Okay, so this was a difference of solidarity in primitive and modern society. Next base is dynamic density. Okay, so number of people in society, and what is dynamic density? Number of people in society and the amount of interaction among them. Okay, in primitive society, amount of interaction was large. Okay, so dynamic density was large. People were interacting in very small things, in very small events too, in day-to-day interaction too. Whereas in modern society, we see that the dynamic density is decreasing day by day. Yet it's not disappeared, but yes, it's decreasing day by day, because we are busy in capitalist society. We are busy in our own work, so there is very less chances or instances of interaction among the members of society as compared to the primitive society. Rise of division of labor allow people and social structure they create to complement. So there is a peaceful coexistence. There is a greater efficiency. Yet the dynamic density in primitive society, it is more intense. Struggle for survival among various parallel and similar components of the society. Whereas in modern society, what we see? Specialized component, different components, okay, acting specifically, doing a specialized event. Whereas in primitive society, it is a similar components of the society. Okay, now the third point is law. Okay, in primitive society, the law was repressive. Okay, when a crime is committed by an individual, so it was thought that particular crime is committed against the whole society. Okay, means it's a moral crime. In a sense, it's a moral crime, and since that person is committing a crime against the whole society, the nature of punishment was very brutal. There are a number of brutal examples present in books, so I'm not going into detailing of that kind of brutal punishments, but that crime was considered a crime against the entire community. Whereas in today's case, the kind of law is restitutive law. Means when a person commits a crime, it is considered that the person is committing a crime against a specific individual who is going to police station and making complaints, filing FIRs. So that is the restitutive law. Okay, so it is comply with the law or to repay. Okay, somewhere in the theories of Durkheim, restitutive law somewhere gives opportunity for the culprit to get corrected. There is a chance. There is a chance of reform. There is a chance that people, after spending or after completing a sort of punishment, will do come back to the society and will do good things. Will not go back to the similar kind of acts. Whereas in the primitive society, this was not the case. It was repressive law, and it was considered more intense in nature. Okay, now coming to the specialization, the fourth point. Okay, division of labor was very normal in primitive society. All people were able to do similar kind of job. There was not very specialization about it. Everybody was able to do similar kind of jobs, and division of labor was very simple. Woman has to take care of the upbringing of the children, and that is required in the house, in house, whereas men was responsible to go out and gather the food. Okay, hunting and gathering. So this was a very simple division of labor. What we see today is a very specialized division of labor. We have somehow broken down a major task in very small tasks. Okay, and when it is broken down, every small task assigned to a very specialist person. Okay, for example, you see in a medical field, you have different body part, different organs, and you have a specialized doctor accordingly. Like you have this neurosurgeon, you have cardiologist, you have a pediatrician, gynecologist. Okay, similarly in education, we see a subject is broken down into numerous fields. In sociology itself, you have sociology of food, you have sociology of sports, you have sociology of law, you have sociology, medical sociology, the emerging fields. So these are the day by day we are means breaking the field more smaller and smaller and smaller, and we have a specialized division of labor based upon that. Okay, now the next point is collective conscience. Collective conscience was great in primitive society and decreasing in modern society. Why it was great? Because collective conscience is a set of beliefs, is a set of practices practiced by average number of members in a society, or more than an average number of members of society. And in modern society, it is decreasing because people are having diverse interests, people have diverse understanding about different things, so it is decreasing. But for Durkheim, it was important to increase the collective conscience in contemporary society, just to increase the solidarity too. For example, the consciousness about nationalism, consciousness about the gender norms, similar kind of examples, which increases because it is shared by most of the numbers of members of the society, more than average numbers of the society. Then it will increase the solidarity in contemporary or modern society. So this was the basic difference that Durkheim has given. Okay, now let's move to the next topic, that is suicide. Okay, let's start by reading the definition. Suicide is applied to all cases of death resulting directly or indirectly from a positive or negative act of the victim himself, which he knows will produce this result. Okay, so what you want to say here is that if a person is committing certain kind of action deliberately and he knows the end result of it, he knows by committing this particular action he will end his life. So when this kind of action performed, this is called suicide. For example, if a person is consuming, let's say, poison, or if a person is jumping in front of the running train, or if off the buildings, or hanging himself, then it is called a suicide. Means that performing actor has a deliberate consciousness about the end result of his action. Okay, so why Durkheim opted for suicide? Why he wanted to study suicide? There are several reasons. First, suicide is a concrete and specific phenomena, and then there is an ample data about suicide is available. He wanted to explain the different rate of society in different category of peoples. For example, that the suicide rate is more in men as compared to women. The suicide rate is more among soldiers as compared to other people, and more in married, less in married couple as compared to unmarried people. Then more in childless couple as compared to couple having childs. And similarly, so he wanted more in, even seasons were analyzed, that it is more in summer season as compared to the winter season. So he wanted to analyze this particular sociological phenomena sociologically, because some action that the actor knows going to end the life of the actor must be explained sociologically. That was his stand on this. And he rejected several other existing theory. He rejected the race theory due to difference within the same race. Then he rejected the imitation theory associated with early French social psychologists like Gabriel Tarde. Okay, people commit suicide by imitating others. So he rejected all these things. For example, if you remember, there was early serial called Shaktiman. Yes. So what happened during that time, that small children used to imitate Shaktiman, and they jump off the wall, jump off the building. And Krish movie, have you seen, imitating the hero of the movie, similar kind of actions, and it consequently led to death or injury. So they did not know that this action is going to land them in a trouble. They know that they will do some magical things and save the world, kind of thing, small kids. So Durkheim rejected this imitation theory, because the social suicide rate can be explained only sociologically. So what is anomie here? A breakdown or confusion in the norms, values and culture of a group or a society, a condition of relative normlessness. Individuals are said to be confronted with anomie when they are not faced with sufficient moral constraint, don't have clear concept of what is and what is not proper and accepted behavior. So the belief that structural division of labor in modern society is a source of cohesion that compensate for the declining strength of collective morality. So this is anomie. Now let's come to types of suicide given by Emile Durkheim. So there were two bases. First one, the social integration. Second one was the moral regulation. Now whether social integration is too high or too low. When it is too high, it is called altruistic. When too high, it is called altruistic. When the integration of society and the individual is too high, that the individual's existence is nothing, considered nothing, and his existence purely accommodated, or I must say assimilated. Society and the man is assimilated, then men give up their life, people give up their life in contributing towards the betterment of the society. For example, suicide by the soldiers and the followers of the king. If some of their main follower, some of the major king died, then number of their followers commit suicide. For example, recently we can take the death of famous political leader Jayalalitha ji in the south, and when she died, then a number of people committed suicide after her death. So this is called an altruistic suicide, where the existence of individual is of no value and it is assimilated too high in society itself. Second, when this social integration is too low, then it is called a egoistic suicide. Now coming to egoistic suicide, individual not well integrated into the larger social unit, okay, so led to a sense of meaninglessness, sad, depression. Okay, what is the characteristic of capitalist society or a capitalism is individual is left free to achieve whatever he wish to achieve. But when you said when you set free the ego, then there is no limit to interest, there is no limit to needs, there is no limits to there is no limitations of achievement. Okay, you are free to achieve everything, everywhere, anytime. Okay, but when people run after their ambitions, then there remains a possibility of failures. When sky is very high, then always remains this possibility of failure. So when they confront with the failure, then it's very depressing. Then this trauma and depression and sadness occupy their situation, and this situation, I say, motivate them or provoke them. Provoke would be a better word. Provoke them to commit suicide. So this kind of suicide where ego is very high, ego is given very importance, and when there is a failure, they are not able to adapt, accommodate with the new situation, and they commit suicide. You have seen a number of instances of suicide committed by students when board results were announced. Then government issued number of helpline numbers, and counseling are done, and then articles come that parent should not pressurize their students to get 90 plus marks. So this kind of civic ego is not ready to confront, or society has not made them ready to confront the failures, how to tackle with the failures. And the success is celebrated in such a way that failures are really become painful, and their training is the training of youth is not there for the failure, then they commit suicide. So this kind of suicide come under the egoistic suicide. Now come to the second base of moral regulation. When the moral regulation is too high, then it is called a fatalistic suicide. Now the fatalistic suicide, where you accept that this is your fate, you can't do anything about it. For example, in a slave society, where slave is means absolute slaveness. In earlier time, it was absolute slaveness. You don't have, slaves have no right on their body, anything. So they were treated as an property of the owner. Slaves were the property of the kings, of the owners, the people. They were selling and buying of slaves. Okay, they were human beings, but yet they were treated as an objects. So that time slave found that this is something inescapable. So they are not able enough to escape this situation or condition. So the thing they have only in hand is to commit suicide. So this comes under the fatalistic suicide. Now the last one is under moral regulation, second one, and the last one of course is anomic suicide. Anomy, what we discussed in the previous slide, is normlessness. Okay, so anomic suicide, when the situation, there is a sudden change in the situation and the person is not able to cope up with the new situation. Okay, so in this kind of thing, the suicide that take place are known as anomic suicide. In anomic suicide, example are like during depression periods or recession periods, when loss of job is there, or a sudden death of the loved ones, dear ones. So the other people find it really hard to cope up with the new sad currents, sad social currents, and they commit suicide. So that is called as anomic suicide. Here I would like to cite in, here you can see paper and find out the number of suicide, because every other day we find news of suicide. You should try to categorize them, which kind of suicide it is. Okay, like farmer suicide, there is a frequent instances. Then sometime wife committing suicide, husband committing suicide, and similarly students, and there are a number of examples. You should go through it and you will get more example about it. Okay, now let's move to the next topic, that is religion. It's a very important topic, and you see, when you read all the thinkers together, the classical thinkers particularly, you will see religion was very common thing, or a common social fact, of course, studied among all the thinkers, either be it Auguste Comte, or it be Max Weber, or it be Karl Marx, or it be Emile Durkheim. Religion comes out to be a common topic. Okay, Now, what Durkheim had to say about the religion. Let's start with the definition of religion. A religion is a unified system of beliefs and practices relative to sacred things, that is to say, things set apart and surrounded by prohibitions, beliefs and practices that unite its adherents in a single moral community called a church, given in the elementary forms of religious life, a book of Emile Durkheim. So he categorized all the activities people perform in two parts. One is sacred, other one is profane. Now, profane is not the opposite of sacred. Okay, it is not something like polluting. No, it is something we do in our everyday life. And how sacred is defined then in relation to profane? So, the sacred reality of society is those aspects of society which is set apart, okay, and deemed forbidden. This is the essence of religion. Sacred things bring out attitude of reverence, respect, mystery, honor, okay. So there is a special privilege given to the sacred activities, rules and regulations, norms decided by respective societies. Profane is the daily activities, okay. What is the starting point of religion? From where it has started? Okay, contemporary religion or this. So for that particular reason, Emile Durkheim studied a tribe from Australia, the Arunta tribe. And why he chosen tribe? There must be some reasons. And what are those reasons? First thing, religious forms in primitive society could be shown in all their nudity and would require only the slightest effort to lay them open, okay. Intellectual and the moral conformity, okay, most pristine form of religion, okay. The primitive religion or religion followed by tribals are the most pristine form of religion. Religion in primitive society is an all encompassing collective morality, okay. So what the particular name he has given is totem, okay. What is totem? So totem can be a simplest and most primitive form of religion, and it can be harmless plant or animal, okay. Now, clan is the primitive form of social religion, and they have made large totems, material representation of immaterial force at the base, okay. This is the identity totem. They identify themselves with the particular totem. The long lineages they find, okay, we have seen number of animals and plants being worshipped in diverse religions, okay, diverse areas. So these were the totem and the earliest form of religion. Now, God is society writ large. And what is God? God is only a figurative expression of society. So for Durkheim, society is very important, and everything else that is working towards some functional contribution towards the maintenance and solidarity of the society. So similarly, the religion is working in the same way. For example, there are a number of celebration in diverse group of Indians, such a diverse country. Number of ethnicities are there, and they have number of festivals throughout the year. So what is that particular common point in all the festivals? Either it be a Deepavali celebration, or it be a Holi, or it be a Christmas celebration, and it can be a Pongal, it can be then Lodi or many other celebration. What is the common point? Then Janmashtami is also there. So when people gather in such celebrations, okay, they chant different sutras, different mantras, they do collective artis, bhajans and all that kind of thing. The point is you feel a kind of collective conscience, you kind of collective consciousness when you are celebrating things together. Even in a small fair you see, then there are a number of fairs across the country. When we go together, there are large masses of people, and we find a sort of collectiveness there. Though we don't know each other, there are numerous people, we don't know each other by face, but we don't have any relation, we never met ever earlier, and also after things are over, we are not going to meet ever. But at that point of time, we feel there is something collective present there. there is something collective consciousness present there. Okay, so for Durkheim, heaven is on earth itself. It is not something beyond the capacity of human. It is on earth itself. So we are worshipping ultimately the society itself. Okay, so the concept of God and different gods and different religion is only a figurative expression of society. So this was the basic concept given by Durkheim in religion. Okay, so here the discussion on the thinker, the first introduction ended, and all the major key concepts are covered. Okay, so we will meet in next video on next thinker. Okay, have a good day. Bye.